must all have seemed like a terrible dream for those who believed in the city of music. New Orleans, Louisiana, the home of jazz, blues, rock and roll, was a cultural gumbo of about 500,000 people, many of them musicians. A year later, less than half remain. Hurricane Katrina was a disaster on a biblical scale. Over 1,000 dead, tens of thousands of homes destroyed, and a torrent of tears that would rival the Mississippi. The Edge has another reason for coming back to New Orleans. Preservation Hall, the home of traditional New Orleans jazz, is reopening.
We're opening again, and we really don't know what our future is. We don't know whether people will come back to hear the music here. We're taking a leap of faith and reopening, not knowing what tomorrow will bring. But we also know that we have a responsibility for the musicians that have returned and do perform here to have a venue for them to perform in.
I'm taking my lumps to see how pro wrestlers pull off their dangerous and sometimes deadly day jobs.
That's it, Ryan. Keep pushing it.
With just 2 days of intense training.
Try that side headlock. Come on, use some strength.
Will I be able to bring down the house?
The main event is next.
Live?
Anything goes.
In only 2 days, I've been primed for my pro wrestling debut.
Oh, that was a good one. I think that's enough marks for right now.
Frankie the Mobster has put guys in the ground, but I'm going to crush this dude. Feel the wrath of the guinea pig.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for your main event. And there's one thing I need to tell you about this match. It will be no holds barred. Anything goes. Being accompanied to the ring by Amber Lynn Walker. He weighs in at 195 pounds. The guinea pig, Ryan Starr!
Yeah, go Ryan!
And his opponent from Montreal, Quebec, weighing in at 244 pounds, Frankie the Mobster!
And they're off. Ryan digs in for a headlock. But Frankie turns it around on him.
That's how it's done, Rockie!
I didn't like that noise! That brings back painful memories, but I can give it as good as I can take it. Oh, remember to spread out the surface area. It's hard to think physics when you're getting pounded. And a backbreaker. That's it. Let's take this outside. Frankie's really pumped up and forgets to hold back on this one. He just about knocks me out cold.
Get in the
all his momentum gets absorbed by my melon.
Anzio, January 22nd, 1944. The U.S. Fifth Army invades the Italian coast south of Rome.
If you're going to fight a war, let's fight it on somebody else's land, not on ours.
We were going to take the war to the enemy.
By the end of the first day, 36,000 men had come ashore at the cost of just 13 lives. As the soldiers took control of the port, they discovered, to their amazement, they had caught the Germans off guard.
I thought it was great. I said, at last I'm really going to do something here, you know.
The men believed they'd be in Rome within the week. They were wrong.
Germans were the best soldiers in the world. They were the best trained, they had wonderful experience, and they had, that fanatical faith.
The Devil's Brigade assault on Mount Defensa was one of the most daring strategic victories of the Second World War. The Germans held the peaks. The Allies wanted them. And wave after wave of infantry died trying to take the mountain. The 1st Special Service Force took Defensa in just a few hours. Joe Glass from Sarnia was one of the first men to reach the top. Lauren Whaling, Joe's best friend, was close behind. And Mark Radcliffe, a young lieutenant from Texas, helped plan the assault. These 3 men survived what was thought to be a suicide mission. They are the human face of courage.
And we attacked, and it took us 2 hours to take that out. We took all these guys out. We lost a few men, quite a few men, in fact. We done a good job, real good job up here. How can you explain combat? If you've never been in combat, you know you can't explain it. So we just had a good fight, got it over in 2 hours. I lost my company commander and a few good friends. And a guy hit me in the face and the hand. It hit my little finger right there with a bullet. And then it hit the rock and it splattered rock on my face and I couldn't see out of my right eye. So I moved over, got behind this rock about this high. And this one guy, the last guy, he never gave up. And my company commander come up one side of me and Sid Gath on the other. And he said, "How's things going, Joe?" And I said, "Okay." I said, "But whatever you do, don't stick your head above this rock till we get that guy." I was planning on getting some grenades and getting them out the easy way. Because you couldn't, he was a real good marksman. He hit several guys. But they both raised their head at the same time and he got both of them through the brains. The brains splattered out on the ground. So I moved over and talked to Don McKinnon. And he was there and he said, "Jesus, Joe, I'm scared." I said, "Hell, we're all scared. Have a cigarette." I wanted a cigarette bad. So I lit up 2 cigarettes and I borrowed 2 grenades and it was only 25 feet away from us. So you know how close we were. It was easy to get a grenade in there, but I didn't have any. But I got 2 of them, I think Sid Gath or Rothan, who were both dead. And then we tried to get them out. and I don't know who got him. But it didn't matter, he was the last guy, but he'd already killed my commanding officer and one of my best friends.
In the summer of 1937, the outport of Hay Cove, Newfoundland, was a haven. A place where men fished for cod or herring, and women washed and cooked, and raised children who played by the sea. Most of the outports are now gone, leaving little behind but memories of a culture lost and stories from a time that once was. But Hay Cove has been rebuilt. Once again, it is 1937, and the men are fishing for cod. The waters off the island of Newfoundland were once home to the great cod fishery. Along the coast, hundreds of small outports sprang up, providing homes to generations of men who worked the seas. They were places like Hay Cove in Placentia Bay. 2 Newfoundland families have been chosen to spend the summer in Hay Cove. Their quest? Live off the sea as their ancestors did.
We're sick of the way the households are, We had a choice from the beginning. If we get to switch households, if we want to change things around. And there's only 3 weeks left. Count, folks. 3 weeks. 3.5, actually. But we do think that there should be a change. The change, Marianne leaving our house so I can run the household. And I'm really scared when the meeting's gonna be because she's gonna try to kill me.
In an effort to be open and frank with people, thought I'd bring this, it's not an issue, it's a concern, and it's something that I've, been thinking about for a while, obviously, and it concerns Marianne and our household. And that is that we've been here 7 weeks now, and it's my opinion and my feeling that Anna should be given an opportunity to run the household.
I'd like to know exactly where Ralph was coming from, because first when we started out here, I asked Anna, what do you want to do? What would you like to do? And just shrugged her shoulders and walked out the door. So things went on from bad to worse till I finally asked to call a meeting and see what could we do to set up a structure. And I, for one, thought it was rather cleared up.
It's taken her 7 weeks to get to this point. And
now
suggested she wasn't willing to do anything the first 2 weeks. Hell, if you wanted to look at us the first 2 or 3 weeks and said, how much fishing did we do as a bunch of fishermen? We did nothing. Because we were trying to get established here. Same as all of us were. Trying to get here and get squared away and to start to operate a house.
Well, what does Anna want to do now?
I want to be able to run the house.
Because
when I got here, I didn't know how to do any of this kind of stuff. And
I'm Regimental Sergeant Major Bill Wolf. I'm gonna crank the neck. Break it. For 30 years, I've taught soldiers how to stay alive in combat. Take a sports move, turn it into a deadly move. Got it? I know weapons. I know fear. And I know war. Take out his eye. How you train is how you react. But most of all, I know what it takes to become one of history's toughest soldiers. The U.S. has more soldiers at war right now than anyone else. You may think these are just kids who still believe in mum and apple pie, but trust me, You don't want to mess with G.I. Joe. They train at places like this, Fort William Henry Harrison in Helena, Montana. And it's where I've come to see if these GIs are as tough as they think they are. I want to know, can they fight? Can they shoot? Do they have what it takes to stay alive in combat? But most of all, I want to find out if they've got what I call assertive confidence. Because when they get to Iraq, they're gonna need it. You guys are going to war. In this life and death struggle, what's the one rule? I will survive, I'll never give up. And you know scumbag from any nation turns you into a victim, does he? And you have to find it within yourself to go that extra distance. Not only that, you got to do your job, period. That's what civilians don't understand. They get to go sit on the couch and have a cup of coffee after they put a couple nails in the front porch. Do you guys get that luxury? So the people at home watching you guys doing this, what they got to bloody well understand is that you got work to do. And it is work. So these guys train hard. But what else would you expect? Fort Harrison is the home of the legendary Devil's Brigade.
Welcome to George and Francie's Last Chance for Romance. I'm Cheryl Hickey. Brace yourself, this episode deals with some very tough issues. Depression, anger, alcohol, just to name a few. But with a 23-year marriage on the brink of collapse, one thing is clear. These guys could really use a break.
There's absolutely no spark at all. The romance is gone out the window.
To me, every time I hear that, it sort of shuts me down. You know what I mean? So it's like, when am I supposed to, I can have you in a good mood if she's like that, right?
He promised several times that he would either not drink or curb it.
She stays up late at night. Like, I mean, I go to bed by 10 o'clock, 11, and she's up watching her shows 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, or she'll end up going on the computer at 1 o'clock in the morning.
There was a serious accusation that I was having an affair, and that kind of blew everything out of the water.
It's been a long day.
George and Francie are in a long-term relationship. They've been together 25 years, 23 years of marriage, and the truth is they've had a tremendous amount of hardship. Not necessarily things that they brought on themselves, lots of things that have happened to them as well. You know, a few days ago, it seems like 100 years ago, you know, saying to the two of you in that sort of odd way, well, I've picked two symbols, ice and flowers, you know? You've really, really put that in place.
When you brought them out, and once you started talking, it actually hit home so hard that...
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna cry. Anyway, the flowers is why I'm here. The ice, we're working. Originally, I didn't know why I was here. Well, when you came out with that and you explained, now I know. I know why I'm going home.
So, flowers.
Yeah.